Alright guys, hi everyone, welcome to another Hot Girls Crit.
Hey.
We're going to be discussing the 44 rules, a thing that took thy internet by storm. Apparently these 44 rules that I have not read.
Well, D&D internet, I don't think
it's the whole internet, it's the entire, all of it. It's the internet.
All the internet. They all know and play Dungeons and Dragons.
Ask your mom about these 44 rules. I'm sure she knows about them. But yeah, apparently these rules were posted by, I think it was a DM or a GM.
Oh yeah, it was a game master.
And a lot of people had their opinions about it, and we're very late to talk about it.
We're pretty late. By the time this airs, it probably will be they'll be like, that was like 6 months ago.
That was very 6 months ago. And since I have the dyslexia and I have issues with public reading, look at any of my events at South by Southwest when I have to publicly read names out loud. Carice is going to be very kind enough as to read these 44 things, and we're going to give our honest opinions about it. Because I don't know what's on this list. I'm going to look at it literally right now and react to it right now.
So we have our phones out. It's not that we be on our damn phones all day.
We have a script that we're reading right now.
Alright, so I have the 44 rules here. I'm just gonna read it exactly as it was posted to the Reddit.
Actually, I think the original post was taken out and this person recopied them except for the 44th. That's the only one that's a little changed, if I remember correctly.
Can we find there's only 42 rules here, so there's 2 that are missing. Can anyone find the 2 missing rules? It's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah, post it in comments right now.
I'm gonna run a D&D adventure based on finding the final 2 rules. Alright, so I'm gonna get started. We're just going to give our thoughts, our opinions, basically.
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys. Allergy season here in Texas. 44 rules. I'm timing turns. I don't give a fuck if it's unfair in your opinion, because your spells are hard or you don't know what square to move to. You get 1 minute to know all the actions you want to take, or I skip your turn. And that's not a rule, that's just like the first thing.
I think that might have been a rule when I copied it.
Oh, it's a rule? Okay.
And I think it just auto-formatted oddly. So,
I think that might have been the first rule then, so where you're only missing actually 1 rule now.
Okay. There you go, makes sense. So, alright, I see this person, like, my players don't take the game or combat seriously, and they're doodling on their phones all the time.
Doom scrolling.
Have a plan A, plan B for your attacks. Pay attention on the game. I do agree with that, but like, skip your turn.
I also think, as me, someone that struggles with anxiety, such as like if I know an answer to a question, but if I don't raise my hand and the professor called on me, I would instantly forget it.
Yeah.
I think having a timer there is going to make your players play slower, in my opinion.
It's just
because they're going to feel a lot of pressure, and 1 minute sometimes then combat can sometimes become more of like a video game, to where you're like, I attack, and you don't really role play with it. The style of D&D, there's so many different styles that we mostly play as a lot of role play, so it's a lot of describing exactly how we're attacking, and if it's only 1 minute, it's going to turn very into this is a video game, and I attack twice, that's my turn.
Why, yeah, and then your combat's gonna get very boring. Why don't you just, if that person, their minute runs out, I'll come back to you. And then that person has a little bit more time.
Exactly.
Do that. I don't. If you want to keep the minute rule, do that. Just come back to them. Like, hey, I see that there's a lot of. Maybe you had an idea and someone casted a spell that shifted.
Yeah, it does happen.
Like, oh, vortex something or teleportation, and now the enemy's far away, so like you don't know what you're doing. Give them a little bit of time to think about what they're gonna do.
I play mostly like martial classes, so I'll already have like a plan in mind, and then there'll be a giant moonbeam that I was not planning for in front of me, and I'll have to completely change what I'm doing. So, excuse me. I do think it's valid, but I just think a 1 minute timer is.
We're gonna get a lot of comments about moonbeams in the comments. All right, number 2.
Number 2. If you want harder fights, bring a second character sheet and expect to twiddle your thumbs when you die. I'm not going to baby anyone.
If you want harder fights, bring a second character sheet. Okay. If you want a harder fight...
Were they complaining that the combat was too easy?
I'm confused, because then you're saying, I'm gonna kill your character. So like, are you threatening them? If you want a harder fight, I'm going to give you a hard fight, but I'm going to kill your character?
Yeah, because that's a little... I don't know if maybe they're playing with min-maxers.
Could be.
Which is totally fine to be a min-maxer. I mean, I speak as a min-maxer, because when you've played the game for so long, it's really hard not to be a min-maxer. But...
I'm going to pull down the curtain for the DMs.
Okay.
Look, an easy fight should be about a round. A medium fight should be about 3 rounds, and a very hard fight should be about 5 rounds. If you, the Dungeon Master, want this fight to be a hard fight, extend the fight to be those amount of rounds by any means necessary behind the screen. They can't see back here. You're safe.
Very true.
If you're a player of mine, skip, fast forward, whatever. Don't listen to rule number 2 of this part. No, you're good. You're gold.
If you're a player, just
if you're
create a second character.
Players,
They'll never know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know. That sounded passive aggressive to me.
It just sounded straight up aggressive.
Sound like a little bitch. No, you're cool, dude. I guess. I don't know you.
Here's the third rule. If you call me or my role's unfair, I'll get up and go home. And if you got a ride with me, you can find your own way back and suck it up.
Okay, that sounds like a little bitch. Okay.
Yikes!
That one just sounds like a bully. If you call me out or try to... This is a game that's a conversation. And if you call me out as my position, the person who has a lot of rules, I'm going to get offended and go home because I can't take criticism.
We're both players and we're both dungeon masters. The way I view it as, it's one thing to not quote unquote call, but not challenge. Those are just like really aggressive terms. But yeah, I guess you could say to call out the DM and be like, it's another if you feel like to call out their rolls though. You know, like I roll a 32 to hit you. Well, that's not fair. Let me see your dice. It's one of those like, that's not how the game works. If I wanted you to see my rolls, I wouldn't have a dungeon screen. It defeats, I guess you could say, the mysticism of the game, in my opinion.
For sure, yeah.
And I do get that I do get that it is mentally draining to constantly feel like you have to justify what you're doing when they asked you to host a game, basically, you know?
Yeah.
And you're doing your best.
Like, when you put yourself in a position behind the screen, you are, I don't know, in my opinion, we are a controversial show. You are saying and putting yourself up for the position of saying that you have a little bit, I wouldn't say more authority, but you are putting yourself in that position of at least a fallacy of authority here. But like,
I do agree that you are a person of authority, though. It's just how the game works. You're the referee.
Yeah, and with that comes a little bit of dispute, and if there is a dispute, you have to be able to be cool-headed and handle that dispute correctly with your table. I don't know, like if a person at the table is unhappy about said decision, explain why said decision was made that way. And if you gave them a ride, you're kind of a little cunt by not giving them a ride back home. That's just basic decency, dog. Yeah,
you don't just abandon anyway. That's not safe at all. A lot of really dangerous things could happen.
Yeah.
So if you're already, like, I guess you could say in turmoil with your players, don't offer to give them rides.
Yeah,
if you're gonna do that. If there's already tension between the two of you and you know a car ride is gonna make both of you uncomfortable, don't offer them a ride.
Yeah.
And it is of my opinion, if you're going to abandon someone, you should Uber them back.
Yeah, that's at least what you should do.
Unless it's a safety concern and you're leaving for your own safety, then fuck them, but you know what I mean.
Use their credit card so they can get an Uber.
Use their credit card. Let me see.
These are wild. I didn't think they were gonna get like that wild that fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to take your characters. Oh, this is rule 3. My bad, guys. I'm a little stupid. I'm going to take your character's loot away as regularly as you want it given out. Rule 3 will apply here. This is rule 3, though.
Oh, because they all got switched one.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. So this is rule 4. My bad, guys.
Yeah.
Rule 3 will apply here, so saying, okay.
If you don't like the
that I did that, find your own way home. That's what he's saying there.
I'm going to
I'm not gonna say he actually, that's what they're saying, because I don't know the gender of
I'm going to take
DM.
your earnings and rewards in the game, which makes the reason why you go out on an adventure sometimes, and distribute them as I feel, how I please.
I'm going to take your character's loot away as regularly as you want it given out. Does that mean I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to take something else away from you? That's
are they saying, like, I gave you a wand of healing, and it's fucking up my fight, you're doing too well, I'm going to take that wand away and give it to somebody else?
The way I'm viewing it as maybe catastrophes will happen. Like, I'm gonna give you all this magic stuff, but then there's also gonna be catastrophes that make you lose what you already had in general to keep it balanced.
I understand you being a Session 0 and being like, hey, in this world, in this campaign, magic can't be destroyed. That's totally cool, I get that. And when you do it at Session 0, your players have an expectation, oh, magic can be destroyed. I could have my item taken away and stolen. That's a cool conversation, that's a cool thing to happen. Not cool as in like, yeah, please steal from me, DM, but like cool that like, these are consequences and expectations of said game. But just straight up, I want to do whatever the fuck I want. This guy sounds like a cool guy to invite to a party.
But maybe, I don't know if I'm spending too much time on this role, like, because I also want to give them like a fair shake. I'm going to take your character's loot away as regularly as you want to give it out. Maybe they're saying, stop asking me for magic items or I'm going to take your stuff away. It's
as
annoying.
You want to give, yeah.
Like, it's annoying. Stop asking me for stuff. I'll give you it when I want to give it to you. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, alright.
That also does make sense too.
Don't ask your DMs for magic items all the time.
It's very annoying.
Yeah.
And there's also a way to ask for them without it being you owe me this.
Yeah,
like it's a video game or something.
Yeah, how you do it properly is you go, money please.
Yeah, no, don't do that to your DM.
Money, please.
Oh, no, there's no money.
Oh, my bad. No problem.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. I'll just destroy this office.
Hey!
To your DM.
You go,
You're like, would this
Dungeon
merchant
days.
have this
Dungeon
item?
Mummy. Dungeon days, please.
DM stands for Dungeon Mommy.
That's what it stands for.
Alright, so this is the 5th rule. If you don't act out any of your persuasion or intimidation or any other social checks, you fail before you even roll. You fail immediately because you aren't even trying and you're making the game lame for everyone else.
No. Alright. Give me an athletics check. Pick up that 500-pound boulder. No, fuck you. I'm sorry.
I can do that.
Absolutely not. No. This is a game about you pretending to be somebody else in a mystical world. Absolutely not. If someone is getting out of their shell and they're trying to be a confident individual because for some reason they have an anxiety, they have something that is preventing them from being as outspoken as they want, for an example here, because we're using persuasion and intimidation, these charisma checks, and they're not as confident as you would say, and you're like, nah, bitch, be confident. And, like, I didn't think that was persuasive enough. In my games, I like the idea of roleplay. So like, give me anything with that persuasive roll. Hi, can I have this? I roll a 15, a 30, whatever. Cool, you spoke. That's all I wanted.
You don't have to be extremely theatrical. I do see where they're coming from, where instead of being like, I would like to persuade him to let me through. Okay?
Yes, I do get that. But on the other side, because we're a show, I feel like I ask a little bit more of y'all.
That makes sense.
But with the average table, it's a fucking game, dude. Like, if I'm not gonna ask you to roll me in acrobatics to like fucking balance, like roll me acrobatics to like the tightrope down this thing, are you actually gonna be able to do it? Like in the old D&D games, if you can research it on the public library and you can come back the public library where you get all your information from. Like that was one of the rules. Like if you can go research it and come back, your character knows it. Like, does that apply with everything? If I can tightrope somewhere, can my character have that dexterity now? Like, I don't know. I just it's your character, it's not you. I'll say that. And I want to give this person a non-physical kiss on the cheek. It's called Who Hurt You? Your players did.
The vibe I'm already getting is, I guess I call it the critical role epidemic, where every DM envisions themselves as Matt Mercer, even if it's not a streamed game, and you want your players to be professional actors, you know? You want it to be that epic, etc. And you can be just an amazing dungeon master, an amazing player, and not be a professional the way they are. You can't compare yourself to them, and it just seems that based off that rule, that they're just expecting that from their players, if that makes sense. To be like critical role. Of course you are. Are you gonna plug that photo of you and Matt Mercer now?
No, I'll leave.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of self-control, and then it's right there. Okay.
I've waited 3 seconds.
I've waited a whole 30 seconds. All right, let's see. Where was I? I completely lost where I was.
We're on number 5, which is 6.
Okay,
I think.
Rule 6. If you don't pick up cues for side quests, that's not my problem. Get over yourself. It's not a video game. It's a role-playing, pen and paper-based game with miniatures. I'm not holding your hand if you choose not to pursue shit. Were they complaining that there wasn't enough side quests? I'm just confused why that rule's in place. It's not so much a... No, I'm telling you.
I feel that is a failure on communication. Because there are many times where I'm like, I thought I gave explanation to a puzzle very well, and my player's like, I don't get what you're saying.
That's me. I'm that player. I'm terrible at puzzles in D&D.
For example, and I'm like, oh, then I have to communicate a different way.
Yeah.
And I think this is just a failure of communication, which is, it happens from time to time because you don't see what's in my brain, and I don't see what's in your brain, and our words get mixed around. There's a lot of things, like English is not my first language. There's just a lot of fucking barriers that are crisscrossing here. And I definitely love to recap what I feel is important, and especially with, if you want to play an open sandbox game, then you give them all the options, and whatever quest they choose, that is the quest. If you want a railroad game, then you tell them the quest. They never chose the wrong quest. Now, if you want a limited railroad, or how we kind of play it, because we are streamed, and I feel that like the professional streamers, that's kind of what they do, is like, you have a very open, every video game is this, you have a very open world, but we still have this railroad that is invisible. And like, you have hundreds of options.
Oh yeah.
But they're not infinite options. It's just hundreds of them. So like, the illusion of openness is throughout, but we still have the limitations of like, I only introduce these bosses, so like, these are the only bosses you really can fight because they're the only options that I made. If you choose to go somewhere else, we will make it, but as a dungeon master, we have to have that conversation to go make it.
Exactly.
So with that, I feel that we need to have that conversation, because that's what I present to y'all. If you don't hear me out with the limited options I gave you, I'm like, well, remember A, B, and C. You did have that one quest, you did have that one fight, you did find that one magic item. It's just communication, dog. Like, I don't know.
I agree. It is definitely communication, and I think you summed it up really well, actually. I don't really think I need to try to give any more insight into that.
Give more insight. Post it in the comments.
Post it in the comments. But let me see. Rule 7. If you move to a square in combat, there's no takebacks. Like it's fucking chess or something. You let go of your mini. I forget what that mini was. Oh, you let go of it, you can't move it now.
Yeah. I hear Cinnamon disagrees with that.
Ignore the dog.
I kinda had that agreement in view long ago in the 4E and 3.5 era. But I know now that it takes away from the combat. It takes away from the fun. And it used to be like, I don't have my fucking things, but like, here's my spell. I'm like, oh, it hits your friend. All right, what about now? Okay, it does not hit your friend now. And it's like,
Yeah.
You're a real person in this 3-dimensional world, and like, just mistakes happen. I guess you can make that argument. Have a session 0. If your players disagree with you, and everyone's like, no, I want more relaxed game, more relaxed rules, and have more relaxed game with rules. Make the fight fun.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of this could have been solved with a session 0.
I think
But-
they just didn't have a session 0, like you said. Yeah.
Session 0s are very important to decide what kind of game, but that's a whole other video about session 0s. But the way I also see it is, I'm playing a character, I'm not playing myself, and here's what I always say. So, I'm a dumbass, but my character has an 18 intelligence and would know not to put the fireball right there, just because I, IRL, have an 8 in intelligence. You know, that's like when it comes to like puzzles. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm terrible at D&D puzzles, but I love to play wizards, and I'm an idiot though. But I'm like, so my wizard has a 20 intelligence. Can I roll for a hint? You know?
Can we have a sidebar? Can we have a sidebar? 1 second.
Okay.
So, don't you ever say that you have an 8 intelligence to my friend ever fucking again. I swear to God. Okay? Right?
Oh, my bad. I do apologize. But that's just like an example, you know? Like, my character's a 20 intelligence. I cannot figure this puzzle out. Let me just roll for it to see if I can get a hint from the DM. And most of the time they're nice. But I'm getting sidetracked. Let's see.
Okay.
8. You tell every single person what you're doing before you do it. You don't fucking roll dice and then say you're casting fireball. You tell us all. I mean, if they already rolled the damage, it doesn't really matter because fireball technically, they have to roll the saves. But that's just me being a bitch right now. But
I mean, you tell every person what you're doing before. Yeah, I
agree with that.
I agree, 100%. I'm not a. I don't like the. I rolled and I tell you what happened. No,
I completely agree with the roll. I think it was worded very disrespectfully.
Yes.
But I do agree with the rule. It's a completely valid rule, and I have that in all my games.
I agree with that.
Unless I tell you, hey, we need to wrap up combat, pre-roll your stuff and write down what you roll. And it's a trust thing, you know? Like, and I'm gonna trust that you're not gonna fucking lie to me, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't roll unless the DM tells you to roll, which I'm sometimes guilty of that. I'll roll and be like, oh shit, you know? And be like, so I accidentally, I was being stupid and I rolled, but I rolled a 2. Because I'll still be honest, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen. I fall, you know?
I think it's very clear. The DM says roll, then roll. If you're rolling for someone like, I want to sneak. Oh, cool. I didn't ask you. So now please roll.
Yeah, I completely agree with the rule. It was just worded extremely disrespectfully, and you just don't talk to people that way. Let me see. Rule 9. I will give out exhaustion more frequently. If you argue, go home, or you can actually fight me over it, or you can DM yourself. That sounds like something I would say to my friends, but like...
Fucking fight me, bro.
Just fight me. I don't think I would say it about exhaustion points. That's not a hill I'm gonna die on, but...
Maybe they're like, oh, we don't need sleep. Let's just push through.
Yeah, or they're trying to sleep in their armor or something. Because also, we're not in the DM's shoes.
Yeah.
Who knows? Their party could be the most fucking annoying people on the planet, and they're DMing for, like, say, their boyfriend's friends, and she just hates them, or he, you know what I mean? Or he hates them, but...
Yeah, because there are some rules out there, like some incumbency rules or exhaustion rules or like armor rules, whatever. There's just rules out there that are like, it doesn't quite make sense. And at the end of the day, you have to be like, as a DM, I've had to be like, I agree with you, but I see why the mechanics of the game said so, and it's just a balance issue. So for a balance perspective, no.
I swallowed my water, Ron! I don't know if y'all saw my eyes like light up the moment I took a drink. I was like, I made a mistake as soon as I took that drink.
For balance issues.
I'm so sorry. I totally took away from the video. I'm sorry, everyone. I
For
ruined
balance issues.
I ruined it.
God had to nerf you a little bit.
Literally. Okay. But no, I mean, I give out exhaustion based upon the rules.
Yeah.
That's just how I do it. I'm not going to just give it out for like, okay, the average person's only awake for 12 hours a day, maybe 14, and it's hour 15, so you're exhausted now.
You took a major dookie exhaustion points.
Exactly. So, the way I view it is, I give it out as the rules say, and I don't have to make a rule about it for my players, because if they want to argue with me, be like, read the player's handbook or the Dungeon Master Guide. It's by the rules, you know?
Yeah.
Let me see. 10. Every snide comment you make back to an NPC will be remembered and pay back in triplicate. You all seem to believe there is a little consequence. I wouldn't say that, I would just do it.
Yeah, I do agree.
I agree.
I agree with that. There is a certain time frame where NPCs, like, when you're...
Rise up,
Yeah.
you know, where they rise up,
Yes.
but...
Like, if you're a murder hobo and if you're a bully, there should be consequences. Like, these people just came to town and destroyed our economic system and took whatever they wanted. They beat up our guards. We went to the mayor. He couldn't do anything about it. We went to the king, and somehow they had pull with the king. So now we're going to, like, the next big thing. Yes, I think that's
I completely
fair.
agree, but maybe, I don't know if this is, like, evil on my part. I'm not going to tell the players it's coming.
Yeah,
It's
no.
just going to hit them, you know? I'm not giving them a warning. Of course, at the beginning, I'll be like, of course, I'll hint and be like, y'all do realize that bounty hunters exist in this world, right? And you can be wanted, you know?
Like, if you're gonna be a jerk, you're gonna have jerk consequences.
If you're going to commit crimes, then
crime shall be committed.
exactly. Then the law will done catch up with you because I am the law, you know? And I always know where my players are.
I fought the law and the law won.
What'd you say?
I fought the law and the law.
I thought you said you fucked the law, and I was like...
Sometimes. No, if I'm in a good mood.
Okay, let's see. Okay, 11. You will not be given a mega dungeon every session. A temple is not the size of a small city, neither is a cave. This shit will happen when it's natural and organic. Go play some roguelike if you want that.
Yeah, I think that's his expectation.
Yeah, it's not a video game. I completely agree with that.
This is not D&D first edition or second edition. Sounds like your players want a dungeon crawl.
It does seem like that.
And that's what you wanted, you should have told them session 0.
Session 0!
Yeah.
Yep. Man, all this is just like such session 0 stuff.
Rewrite this whole thing, redo session 0.
Yeah, literally though. I mean, I'm someone that this is gonna be so anti-Dungeons and Dragons. I don't really like dungeon crawls. Every now and then they're fun, but I'm not a huge dungeon crawler myself.
I mean, the game is specifically built, like the entire player's handbook is built for essentially 1/3 of the aspect of what we do here at this table. So like, I fucking get it.
Let's see. Where did it go? There it is. The travel portion is done. This is rule 12, by the way. You want to travel continents doing literally whatever you want, whenever you want? Go play World of Warcraft or play D&D with AI.
Use a hexagon rule. So
Can you explain that?
Yeah, that's what we do here. So you see how there's hexagons? You can't. You see how there's hexagons there? It's a mechanic that I heard about, and then I don't know what the exact mechanic is for Pathfinder. They're the first ones that I heard that did this. But essentially, you have like 3 options in a day. And one of your options has to be movement. So I guess you checking along, you have 2 options. How I phrase it is you have one major thing you do that day per square. 1 square is 1 day worth of travel. Does not matter if you have a mount, if you have a boat, if you're flying on a plane, it doesn't matter. It's 1 hexagon is 1 day worth of travel, right? So you can plan your route like, oh, this is gonna be 12 days worth of travel for us, because it's just oversimplification of a very complicated world, right? So you have 12 things you can do. Roleplay 12 things. Every person gets a thing to shine, and it doesn't have to be a fight every single time, or it doesn't have to be a dungeon every single time, or you found a magical item. It could just be on day 1, I found a cool berry.
But I do understand some players and DMs just don't like travel, and they're like, okay, we're gonna skip travel. Or you can even ask your players, be like, do you guys want to role play your travel, or do you want to just be there?
Yeah, and that's fine. It's that's why I do like being like, is there anything that you guys wanted to do between point A to point B? And if there's nothing, then we're getting to the story, because your players want to roleplay shit. There's things that they have agency.
Yep, and you only have 4 hours, and I don't want to spend all 4 hours having deep conversations about our backstories around the fire during our watches.
Yeah. Sometimes I just want to punch a troll. But all right, digress.
All right. 13. If you're late with no good reason, I'm going to have your character's hit points for the entire session. That doesn't make any sense,
So
though.
passive aggressive.
I don't know, I just view it as two separate worlds, so I don't know why
Yeah.
it would weaken my character, but...
Like, I have a rule for my home games. If you don't show up, if you're late, if you're late for like 4 games in a row, you're just an NPC now until you are able to come back again. Then you're a player again. If you don't show up in my home games, if you're late, I don't care because you're here to have fun. I do have a small little pet peeve that like tell me because it is. I do agree that it's disrespectful.
I do agree with that.
I spent an entire week, month, whatever, planning this day for you guys, and for you not to text me that you're on your way late or you're just not going to show up, I do feel the disrespect on that. I do.
I completely agree.
But that is vastly overshadowed by the fact that I'm not your fucking mom.
Yep.
And you live your own life and you have your own agency and problems. And sometimes you don't want to tell me what's going on in your world because insert a million reasons. And that's okay. And as a friend, that should be okay. We should normalize, I just don't want to show up.
Yep, I completely agree. But once again, let your dungeon master know. You don't want to give them a reason. Hey, I'm gonna be 20 minutes late. Hey, I don't know how I'm gonna be late. I don't know how late I'm gonna be.
Yeah. And if you can, just give him a Dr. Pepper. Just like, just give him just a little a little kiss on the cheek. Just a little rub on the back.
We have like 3 different flavors of Dr. Pepper in the
Yes, we do.
studio fridge
4
right now. Oh, we have 4 now?
Mama brought original.
No, the OG.
I love how OG was the 4th flavor he brought.
The strawberries and cream is too good, but I digress. For people that aren't in the South, I guess, that don't have it. You went to Vegas and nobody had it, and I was getting so annoyed. One Subway at Mandalay Bay had Dr. Pepper, and I almost cried.
Crimes.
Sick of freaking Pepsi. Anyway, let's see.
I lost my place.
I have it.
Oh.
If you don't, this is rule 14. If you don't show up for no good reason, and that will be determined by me alone, I already don't like that. If no one else has the guts to say shit for fear of upsetting one another, the first time you'll find yourself losing either a whole level or up to 3 major items you own. The second time you do it in a row, you'll be removed from the chat and the group full stop. I have no fucking time for people to not show up.
Okay.
Who the fuck do you think you are to determine if it's a good reason that they can't make it to the session?
That is.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
That 100%. The disrespect alone in that fucking statement.
I feel like everybody is wrong right now. Reading these rules, everybody is in the wrong. But
Yeah.
that one, sometimes people are going through a lot of personal issues, mental health crises, or
Yes.
etc. Or they're
Yes.
just sick and they don't want to tell you that they're sick, or they're tired, etc. It's none of your fucking business. And if they wish to share that with you, then it's awesome that they could trust you with that and that they were vulnerable enough to tell you that. You don't get to determine what's a good reason that they can't make it to our make-believe game.
Yeah, my real world shit trumps your fucking stupid dungeon that day.
Yep.
Like, I don't care if you spent a week preparing for that. No. Also, just FYI, it shouldn't have to be said, but just in case, if your player does come to you, DMs and GMs out there, for like insert reason that's very personal, I can't make it to the game tonight. It's also not your place to out that information.
Yep.
Just say they can't.
Yeah, like if something personal's going on, I'm not gonna post in our group chat what's happening. If I want to tell you, I'll just DM you.
Yes. If they're comfortable and like,
Yeah.
hey, you can tell everybody, it's just, I can't. That's a different conversation,
Exactly.
obviously. But
You know?
like, if they're like, blah, don't repeat blah to the group. That's just a fucking insane.
Yeah. that rule right there, like I said, I've been kind of like in between the two to where I'm like, I see where both are coming from. That rule is insane.
No.
I'm sorry, I can't, if you are watching this, I highly doubt you are, I can't get jiggy with that one.
Yeah.
I feel as though you should do some soul searching because that was crazy.
Also, punishments. Here's the thing. Here's the thing
There.
about punishment and reward and how you motivate individuals. One, punishment never fucking works. You should use positive reinforcement. People do actually genuinely. If you reward somebody, hey, if you show up on time, these are the positive things that happen.
Yeah.
That's sticky. Start giving like an inspiration if people
Yeah.
start showing up on time. That's fucking dope.
Sometimes you do have to baby your players, and that's fine. It's fine to baby them sometimes. Be like, if you show up on time, you'll get X, Y, and Z. You'll get 50 gold, you know?
I give everybody a little kiss on the cheek and a gold star. That's why they show up on time. That's why Jeremiah is here every single session on time. He has 50 gold stars and 100 kisses. But the idea of a consequence, as an example, this is basic parenting because as a DM sometimes that's what you do. This is not how you fucking go about it. If my child is doing something wrong, hi, you didn't clean your room, I'm taking away your laptop. That's not a direct fucking punishment to the thing you didn't do. Like, I'm reducing a level because you didn't show up. That is not a direct correlation to the punishment.
It has nothing to do with it.
Such as like your screen time is 4 hours. You spend 6 hours on your phone, you're going to lose your phone for a day. That is a direct correlation from the thing you didn't do correctly to the consequence of said thing you didn't do correctly. So, do better.
Yep. That one I just can't get jiggy with. I can't, sorry.
No.
Let me see. 15. If you get too stoned or drunk to play, I will go home without a warning. Your warning is here. I agree with that.
Yeah, session 0. Discuss what are the limits.
Like 2 beers at the most, etc.
Yeah,
you know?
like I think,
don't want you bond ripping at my table. You know.
I mean, there is a number of individuals who, because I'm not outing anybody, who do shit at our table, but they keep it to and I'm not saying either live or in person, but it's always at a respectful level because we have discussed that. Because
Exactly.
That it's a thing. Like, I want the attention, and I do host some games where it's like, I don't care how attentive you are. The only thing that I care is that when I ask you a direct question, you respond.
Yeah.
Anything in between, I don't care. You're here to have fun, just like I am. But that's a discussion we had at session 0.
Exactly. That's the kind. Session 0, man. But because I know for me, I don't like my players to get drunk to the point that it's making it not fun for everybody else, because you're doing stupid things, you're endangering the party, you're doing this, you're falling asleep in the middle of the game. So I don't allow people to get drunk in my games whenever I dungeon master. But everybody's different, and I lay down the law though immediately. Not I lay down the law, but like I say, don't get drunk at my table and don't get too high to where you can't function.
I think
Because
it's very simple rules.
It's wasting my time.
100%.
So that is a rule that I can get behind, because you're trying to roleplay a serious scene, and someone just has their whole bond taking a rip while you're describing, and you're like, I'm so glad that this is happening, you know?
Unless everybody's the same level of stone, don't do it.
Oh, here's another one. This is 16. If you get up for bond or smoke or whatever breaks every 10 minutes, I will simply pack up and go home. I'm sick of waiting for every bloke to be at the table. Once again,
Agree.
I do agree with that. Like, getting up to use the restroom, we're not in elementary school or high school. You don't have to ask me if you can get up to use the restroom. But if you're getting up every 10 minutes to go outside for a smoke break, we're gonna be in this tavern all fucking night, you know?
I feel that this person is not playing with friends.
I feel as though they got roped into DMing for like their significant other's friends, or something.
Are they like a DM for hire?
Maybe they're a DM for hire, but I want returning customers. I want to make my coin. I wouldn't be wording my rules this way. customer service wise if I was a DM for hire.
Yeah.
I would make these rules, but word them completely different. You know, with no
Yeah.
cursing, etc. The way fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
If I was a DM for hire, I would also do like, hey, does anyone else have these concerns at my table? And if there was a mixed match of like, I also see problem, I don't want Billy Bob Thornton over here fucking getting high on meth all the time. I just saw a movie that he was doing meth at, I don't know, it was like a feel-good movie. I saw yesterday.
Don't
That's
do
why-
meth at my table, period.
Just don't do meth. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it, guys.
There's plenty of other things you can do that are way safer. Well, if Billy Bob Thornton over here is doing meth at your table and people are having an issue, maybe move all the other meth heads to another table. This is such a horrible example.
This is a terrible example.
But at least all your meth heads are in one table because you're getting paid. And you want to continue customers. That was the whole example. Remember, my analogy was I'm a professional DM getting paid, and I'm saying if all the people do not agree on something in one table, split the table, make them go different tables. That's let's next rule.
But if you are a professional DM, I do understand having stricter boundaries than if you're DMing for your friends. You're not going to be completely buddy with them, and you're going to lay down very strict rules.
Yeah.
But let me see. 16. Nope, I already did 16. 17. Guidance, divination spells, owls, and whatever spells I decide are too fucking stupid are banned. Outright. No more fucking guidance. I don't think a D4 is that deep, but
It's not. I
when you most of the time will roll like a 2 or a 1. That's like at least what I averagely roll on all my D4s, 2 or 1.
Guidance does not break the spell. Does not break the game.
It does not break the game.
Uh,
I understand certain spells like Silvery Barbs. If you just people have to remember the Dungeon Master is a player too, so I understand it's also a very powerful first level spell. I know so many Dungeon Masters that ban Silvery Barbs, but they say that in session 0. That spell is banned. And if you know, you know, you know?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, if there are spells that you just don't like,
It's your game. Ban it.
yeah, but that's session 0, dude.
And I understand if you don't discover it until mid-session. You don't like, Silvery Barbs is totally chill. And then it's like 18th session, you're like, I fucking hate this spell.
Yeah.
Then have a serious play, like, yo guys, I'm sorry. I'm not having fun when y'all cast that spell, so I don't want it in my game anymore.
Yeah. Try maybe having like maybe limit it.
Make it a second level spell.
Yeah.
I know a lot of DMs that actually make it a second level spell.
Okay, that's a good compromise. Yeah. Okay.
Or once again, it's your game. You can ban it. There's just I don't think guidance is the problem, but
I do not think guidance is a problem.
And I don't know what he has an issue with owls.
Or divination spells.
What the heck is wrong with owls? Like, you don't want they're familiar to be an owl?
I think he just hates Harry Potter.
I mean, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah,
so.
fuck turfs, but yeah.
Yeah, fuck turfs. But anyway, I digress. I think I've said I digress like 18 times.
You're digressing this whole video.
Okay. This is rule 18. You get 1 chance at a skill check. If you fuck up, your party doesn't get their chance to do the same check. Think careful who's good at what. I agree.
I agree. That's why I said table.
Like, some of these rules aren't unhinged. I completely agree. Session 0, but I agree.
I tell you guys all the time, like, I'm only gonna allow 2 people to try to make this check because I don't want the whole party to just like, I failed, roll.
Yeah, I'd be like,
That's fine.
can I try again? No, you cannot try again because we'll be here all day until you succeed.
And there is the yes and, but there's also Dungeon Masters, no but. Where, no, you failed that check, but here's information. That is like, you didn't succeed, but here is story moves forward.
Exactly.
So-
and we're not saying pander to your players. Like, you rolled a natural 2. I'm not gonna say natural, but you rolled a 2. It obviously doesn't happen. And you don't have to pander and be like, but you do blah blah blah. Sometimes you can be like, you failed because blah. You know, it doesn't always have to be an actual failure. No, it doesn't. Your character with an 18 strength rolled a 2 at moving a rock. You failed because blah blah. You know, instead of you just want to make sense.
Yes.
And I do agree, not letting every single person roll for the same skill check.
I agree with that one.
unless it's like, you guys can roll a history check to see if you know what statue this is.
Yeah,
Anyone,
that everybody.
everyone can roll that check. Who
Mental
gives a
ones,
shit?
everybody knows.
Yeah, mental. It's the physical ones that matter more.
Yeah.
19. Discussion of metagame details in-game will result in instant damage to your character.
That's stupid. The punishment does not follow the consequence.
It doesn't.
They
don't correlate.
I agree. Meta stuff, and that's what I think is. Okay, you said it out loud. Once a player says a meta shit thing out loud, that's it. It is out. It is in the aether. Every player has it. Cool. How do we turn that into a positive? Please roleplay it. Say it in game now. Figure it out. You have full range. It's not a punishment. It's not a. Just how are we gonna come across that information? And if the player can't, DM help them out. It's just like, how do we figure this out? Because it's a collective story. It's not a you versus me game. I think this feels very you versus me.
It is very you versus me.
Just like, I'm gonna attack you if you give out meta information. Like, my at-home game on Saturday was like, one player is so meta. Because they literally said, and if you're watching, I love you.
I love you.
But they were like, we were fighting a Naga, and this Naga is like, here is this ethical dilemma. That I was turned evil, and if you do not help me with this moral, ethical, good dilemma, I'm going to attack you. But I have to do this evil thing. So either help me do this evil thing, or I will hurt you. I was a Celestial at one point. That's the ethical dilemma. And the player spent 20 minutes IRL saying, what if you do this, what if you do this, what if you do this? Okay, cool. A lot of meta information. A lot of information that the character might not necessarily have had because of their low intelligence. But I told said person, how do you convey that information in the game so we can proceed forward, because you have great points and I think this is beautiful. How do we move forward though? That's that damage to the player, you stupid bitch.
And if you're a player I guess I know a lot about the game. I'm just gonna be like, I'm so good at the game, but I know quite a bit. And I understand how it is difficult sometimes to not say out loud what things that your character should not know. Like if you're fighting a troll and your character's never fought a troll, why would they know that fire damage makes it to where they can't regenerate?
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
So I do understand how it's difficult, but I guess my little tip is self-control.
I like how Jeremiah does it, because he's like, would my character know this?
I do that, I do this as well. Would my character know this? And sometimes, so that way, I don't want to spoil it for the people that have never fought this monster. Sometimes just DM, DM your DM, and be like, yo, can I roll a low-key history check or intelligence check to see if my character would know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, roll, and then you'll look and roll, and you're all, and be like, they don't know. I rolled a 4, you know? And then you have your answer. Your character does not know.
Yeah.
You know?
And then RB appropriately.
Let me see.
We are on quote unquote 19, but it's really 21.
Yes. Okay. 20. Hey guys, this is future Carice and Jesus right
Hi.
here. While we were filming, we did not realize how long the video was going to be because we can't shut the fuck up. So
Yeah, 44 questions is a lot of questions. Yeah.
So we're gonna stop here, but you're gonna find part 2 uploaded in the future.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Share every little bit helps, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, don't forget to follow all the information down below and watch our live plays for D&D.
True. I think we're gonna have like a playlist right there for you guys. You can just click right there for our live play games.
Yes.
Thank you again, and we will see you guys on the next one, part 2. All right.
Yes.
Bye.